So when we empty ourselves, when we go slack-jawed and go, wow, that's what's going on in your life, that's when service really happens most profoundly. And that's true, I think, even when we're doing the kinds of service that are oftentimes thought of as not being so satisfying. The kind of service that we do when we advocate for social change. There's a lot of work we do that's about charity. That's good, but I think charity can't stop at charity. Once we've made a connection with people who are poor, suffering, struggling, etc., once we've made that personal connection and been with them and been present and emptied ourselves personally, part of that emptying is to give up the distinction between charity and social change. They're all one thing. If we're serious about feeding the hungry, then we're going to have to get serious about changing the system that results in people being hungry. And that means political action. It means voting. Voting with our hearts. Voting in an out-of-ego manner. And that's harder for people to wrap their heads and hearts around because we think of politics as this dirty, messy, ugly business. And yet, that is how the business of solving a lot of our social problems is done. It's how it can be achieved. So, spirituality ultimately leads us into being activists, active, engaged citizens, in the service of others through the systems by which our country operates, to get things done that actually serve people. I mean, one example I put out there is, just think about this. The entire charitable food operation of this country, all of the food donated to food banks, church and temple food operations in America, adds up to 6% of what the federal government provides for food assistance to the poor. The food stamp program, the school lunches, all that. All charitable food adds up to 6% of what the federal government does. High idea. So when the government, which is proposed by the Congress, decides to cut the food stamp budget by 16%, that's in the Congress's budget, figure it out. By doing that, they've just wiped out the equivalent of the entire charitable food totals of this country. Poof, with the stroke of a pen. So, if we've gone out of our egos, if we really are about service to others, we're going to carry that commitment over into the voting booth and recognize that you can feed people by going on the ballot. Big time. It's part of our spirituality, it's part of service. I think what I'll do is I'll close with, howdy, good to see you. I'll close with a passage at the very end of the book. Again, back to this whole spirituality of presence, of just being there for people. That's at the very heart of service. A friend of mine, Jim Garrison, art teacher at a private school up in Northern California, and a member of a church that I served as the pastor for many years. He's also a terrific teacher of meditation. He was kind of our church's in-house meditation teacher. He went Psalm 46 in this manner. And I use this as a meditation quite a bit, as a way of getting centered, beginning meditation. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know. Be still.